Hi, I'm Colton with Porsche Center Calgary, and I'm here today with a beautiful new piece of pre-owned inventory. This one is a 2020 911 Carrera 4S. Let me tell you a little bit about what that means, and then we'll dive into this guy in particular. 2020 was a big year for the 911. It was a full change, a full kind of overhaul. Went from the 991.2 generation to the 992. Just one number different, but actually everything about the car changed. So a whole new shape, as much as the 911 does. It's always, of course, been an evolution rather than revolution. Still looks immediately like a 911, but definitely a little bit more, modern lines. It's a much more high-tech car. The engines are all turbocharged. This one is, as I said, a 4S, so it uses a 3-liter flat 6-cylinder engine, twin turbocharged. They changed the turbos a little bit from where they were the year before. For 2020, it made 450 horsepower. Torque number is pretty similar to that. Performance is exceptional. Porsche rates the car at, I think, a little under 3.5 seconds 0 to 60. It's actually much quicker than that. They tend to underestimate those values, or give you at least kind of the worst case scenario when you look at a Porsche published figure. You can always do at least that, and generally you'll see the magazines test it and be a little bit quicker still. So again, this one's a 4S. The S meaning a little bit more power than the non-S. The 4 meaning it's an all-wheel drive car. It used to be the all-wheel drive cars were wider in the rear. Not the case as of 2020. Now they're all the same width. They all get that wider body. It's not really called wider anymore because they're all wide, but they're all wide now. And then the one cue now visually in the back that tells you that you have a four-wheel drive car is the slats on the rear, on kind of that engine intake, are silver by default, as opposed to they would just be matte black on a rear-wheel drive car. A lot of people don't notice that, but that does tell you which wheels are driving the car. Also, a little subtle cue, there's actually nine slats, and then there's the two represented by the high brake light in the rear. So you have 9, and 2, kind of a subtle cue telling you about the chassis designation. Subtle thing, but cool, right? That's what Porsche fans love. So this particular one, jet black metallic, probably the #1 most popular color on the car, and why not? Always looks awesome. These wheels are the standard Carrera S wheel. I was going to say 20 inches. The fronts are 20s, rears are actually 21s. For the 992, they changed that, so the rears are a little bit larger than the fronts. The standard wheel, but slightly upgraded. So these ones are painted the same color as the body. These are jet black metallic, and they also added the sport exhaust in this one in black as well. So you've got those large oval pipes in the back that are black to match this kind of black on black theme. Some other stuff outside, you might notice the little camera on the front. This one has the surround view camera, so you have, of course, your camera in the back, which would be standard anyways, and sensors front and rear, but you also get a camera on front and a camera underneath each side mirror to give you that top-down 360-degree view that was available for the first time in 2020 on the 911s, and about time. It's a feature I love. We've had it available on all of our other models for a little while. Well, not all. 718s don't have it, but everything else that has had it for a bit. Wasn't in the 911, it finally is. Love to see that. This particular one too already has the paint protection film installed, a nice bonus we get sometimes on our pre-owned cars. So the full front end right to the top of the hood, front fenders, side mirrors, all that is wrapped in paint protection film, so you don't have to worry about rock chips and things like that. It protects it quite well. So then let's move on to the inside of the car. This one has a full leather interior, meaning not just the seats, but the dashboard, the doors, everything is leather wrapped. And then they added the contrasting stitch in chalk, which is nice. Adds a little bit of contrast. An all black interior is fine, and with this theme it certainly would have worked, but I do like to see a little bit of contrast, make it a little bit more interesting inside. And then they added the chalk seat belts as well to kind of carry that over. And then the seats, as well as the armrest, have the Porsche crest embossed on there. I love to see that, subtle little cue, but nice to see, especially on the Cabriolets where those headrests are a little bit more visible to yourself and the rest of the world. So subtle thing that I really like. What else have they added here? This was an early production 2020 model, so you didn't have your premium package available, so you couldn't get things with one box. You had to tick it all individually, but a lot of those were ticked with this one. You have the Bose sound system that was upgraded, the lane change assist, which is blind spot warning, that's here as well. The entry and drive, so you just touch the door handle to unlock, and now with the 992s, when you approach the car, the door handle will just kind of come out to greet you, and then you pull that to open it. When you lock it, the door handle sucks back in to be a little bit more aerodynamic. Another feature that's in this one that was new to the 911, and we see pretty rarely optioned, so it's neat to see it on the pre-owned cars. You probably can't see, but there's another little camera on the front, and that's for the night vision assist. Now, to be honest, when I first heard about that option, I thought, okay, you know, neat high-tech stuff, but probably a bit of a novelty. Don't know if it's really that useful. It is. It's actually really cool, and it's one of those things, you know, you only need to have it work effectively for you once to be super happy that you have it. You have, with these cars, you've got your center analog tachometer, and then a screen on either side of that. With the night vision, one of those screens you can scroll through and have kind of an infrared view of the road in front of you, and then you have pedestrians or animals that will light up in yellow, make them immediately visible, far more so than they would be otherwise. And the headlights will actually kind of flash at them to tell you about them and them about you, and it's a really cool system. Quite effective, and rarely seen on these cars, so always neat to see. What else have I maybe failed to mention here? The seat ventilation, heated seats became standard on the car for this year, so that's there of course already, but seat ventilation was added, which is nice. I always like to see that. Content-wise, I think that's about it. Oh, and the dynamic headlights, of course. They're all LEDs as of 2020, but they added the PDLS or Porsche dynamic lighting system, so they'll turn with the steering wheel and they'll look further down the road as you speed up. Definitely nice for some nighttime driving. This one has about 34,000 kilometers, I think just over, so it has been driven a little bit, but it is also a Porsche approved certified pre-owned vehicle, so it gets extra warranty. This one will have warranty until September the 27th of 2025, so still lots of warranty coverage, and with that warranty extension, there's no kilometer limit. So it has a little bit of kilometers on it now, but you can continue to drive it, get absolutely as much as you want out of it, and you'll still have that warranty coverage until 2025. And you can extend it even beyond that if you wanted to, as you get closer to that end date. So to meet that certified standard and get that warranty, it has to, of course, go through our shop and the reconditioning process and be brought to Porsche standards, which are really quite high. In this case, fairly new car, didn't need a whole lot, but we did replace the rear tires on it, so those are brand new. Front still had quite a bit of life on them. The standards are such that if you replace the rears, if the front ones don't need to be replaced, but they're too far off relative to the tread depth on the rear, they would have to replace the fronts as well, and they didn't even have to do that, so lots of life on the fronts. We also replaced the windshield. This is all too common in our part of the country, where you do have, you know, the debris coming. The front, as I said, has that paint protection film on it, so that's great, but the glass is still vulnerable, so that was cracked. We replaced that, and then just did some wheel repairs. Some curb damage was on there, so that was taken care of as well. And that's about all we needed to do. The car came in good shape, maintenance up to date, all that kind of stuff is good. So that pretty well sums up this one. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do like this car, want to come take a closer look, please do. We'll be bringing it up into the showroom after we're done here. It may be available for a test drive, kind of weather permitting. It's pretty warm out there right now, but if it's too icy, it's on summer, so we won't take it out on days like that, of course. But again, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.